This video has graphical content, so watch at your own discretion, and some comedy to lighten the topic. 2 months ago I was working in my workshop and it happened, what we fear as woodworkers most. I've lost a finger. And please, I'm not doing this for sympathy. I'm doing this to make you aware of the dangers we face in the workshop every day. So let's start. I'm going to tell you what happened step by step so you can learn from my mistakes and hopefully you can save a limb or two. I was busy cutting a dado in a small piece of wood, and on the one side it had a curved edge, so I didn't use a push stick. Instead I used my hand. The blade was only raised 5 millimeters, and as I pushed it through, it grabbed a piece of wood and it flung it right out. My hand went into the void and it chopped my fingers. At that stage, like in a millisecond, I've realized that I could feel the pain, and when I looked down, there was blood everywhere and it was squirting. Just kidding, it wasn't that bad. I was actually surprised that it didn't bleed that much. I can't even remember how I switched the table saw off. My first thought was I need to phone someone for help. I screamed for my gardener John and instructed him to phone my wife. Blood and iPhone don't work so well. At first she thought I was joking because I was so calm, and then I said, you know what, I'm dead serious, please rush over. That's when we went into the home, into my kitchen, and I let cold water run over the wound just to, clean it out and so on, and just to rinse off some of the blood. But it was quite tricky because the water was cold, and because of the open nerves, it actually stung a bit. So I had to balance between hot and cold water and so on. This is when I instructed John to please go to my bedroom next to my bed and pick up the bandage there. I don't know why there was a bandage next inside my bed. He came and he wrapped it around my wrist just for the blood to stop. We went outside to wait for my wife. When my wife arrived, we drove through to the hospital. When I got to the hospital, I went straight into the casualties, walked in the front door, straight to casualties, and went into a little cubicle where they assessed me. I said, listen here, please give me something for the pain, and they suggested giving me a pain block. So the pain block is an injection that they put in 3 of your nerves to actually make the finger numb. This helped immensely. Then they bandaged it up roughly, and then I went for x-rays. While I was waiting for x-rays, I felt that the staff was a bit rude and I was just another patient in their super automated lives. But then also, maybe I was impatient, maybe I thought things didn't happen fast enough because of the adrenaline pumping. So I got the x-ray report, and the x-ray report said that the fingertip was severely damaged with bone fragments everywhere and splintered up. So at this stage I knew they were probably going to amputate my finger, that they won't be able to save it. Then I went through the rest of the report saying that the blade went through my tendon here on this knuckle on my middle finger and this lower joint, and severely damaged the tendons, and then also went through the nail bed on my ring finger. So I went back to the casualty ward. They allocated me a green dot, which means I'm not high risk and I'm not going to die anytime soon. And then the waiting began, and I waited and I waited and I waited, and at this stage I was a bit worried because nothing happened, and so we phoned a friend who was a nurse, and she worked for one of the leading medical aid companies in South Africa, just for advice. And what she said was, listen here, I can let a surgeon see you as soon as possible. All you need to do is go to this other hospital. So we finalized everything at this hospital, and we finished it off, and we went over to the other hospital. I walked straight through the front door into a ward that was pre-arranged. Nurse handed me over these those hospital underpants. It looks like a hairnet with holes in it. So I put them on, and it's a bit uncomfortable. And then those backwards hospital gowns that you don't know where you must hold on and where you must close and whatever. And try getting into a hospital bed without flashing anybody with it. I didn't even wait 5 minutes, and the theatre nurse came to cart me away. I met the surgeon, Dr. Voters, and the anaesthetist, Dr. Wong, and they took me into theatre. I transferred over to the operating table, and Dr. Voters said that if it's possible to save the fingertip, he will do everything in his power. If he can't, then it's one of those things. They put me under. They started operating. I saw photos afterwards of what he actually did, and they actually took the whole finger, opened it up completely, obviously to see what bone is left over and that sort of thing. And then they obviously would have sewn it back together if it was savable. Little less than 2 hours, I wake up, and he said he couldn't save the tip. And I burst out crying like a little bitch. I cried and I cried and I cried. No, just kidding. I actually knew what the news was going to be. I knew from the X-ray report that they wouldn't be able to save the finger, so I knew they were amputated it and whatever. I transferred over to the ward bed again, and they carted me off to the ward. Spent the night there. The next morning at about 9 o'clock they discharged me from hospital, went home, and that's when the real recovering started. It's in times like this where you realize who your friends are. I've had so many phone calls, so many messages, so many emails from suppliers, clients, family, whatever. One friend bought us groceries for the week, so we didn't have to worry about that, which was really awesome. I've received so many hampers with biltong and beer and all sorts of stuff, which was really, really great. At this stage, I still didn't know where my finger was cut off, and I was only gonna due to see the doctor in like 2 weeks' time. So after 2 weeks, I met the doctor, and he opened it up, and it was quite a shock. Then reality kicked in, and I realized, listen, yeah, I've lost a finger. But he ensured me that everything will be fine, and he sent me to a OT, an occupational therapist that only specializes in hand injuries, and she's the best. So I went to go see her. She was an absolute gem. She explained every single thing to me, how long it's going to take to recover, the extent of the damage caused, what I'll probably be able to do, what I probably won't be able to do, and that sort of thing. So today, 2 months later, I'm back at doing what I love. I know my fingers aren't 100% yet, but I'm sure it will heal with time. I just realized that it could have been so much worse, and I was very fortunate. So, what would I have done differently? 1. Never use your fingers as a push stick. Rather let a piece of wood get jammed into the blade, but don't use your fingers. 2. Be careful. Always be careful. Be vigilant. Be careful. Concentrate. 3. Never ever use a wobble dado stack. The more I think about it, the more I realize how dangerous that blade is. With its staggered teeth like that, it's just meant to grab things. It's just meant to grab things. It is meant to cause damage. Don't use a blade if you have one like that. Rather use a stacked blade with blades that you stack. It is just makes so much more sense. It means there's more teeth that will take little bites instead of big bites and chunks. Number 4, be careful. Number 5, raise a dado blade 1 millimeter at a time. Be patient. Raise it 1 millimeter at a time and stick it through. And stick it through and stick it through until you're happy. Don't try and take bites out of it and chunks out of it in one go. Number 6, have a first aid kit in your workshop. Number 7, have an emergency plan. Point of contact of who you're going to call when shit hits the fan, and know where your closest hospital is, and for that reason. Obviously I dealt with my situation differently. I phoned my wife and my mum. I analysed the situation and I realised, listen, it's not that serious. I don't need an ambulance. Obviously if it was more serious I would have called an ambulance. And that's it. So thank you for watching. I don't hope I freaked anybody out too much. This is just to raise awareness. Be safe and goodbye. Peace out.